This is Things Police See, First-Hand Accounts, with your host, Steve Gould.
Hey guys, welcome to Cops in the News, where we talk about law enforcement news stories as reported to us by the always reliable, trustworthy, and honest news media. I am Steve Gould, as the gentleman said, and joining me from episode number 115, recorded in September 2022, the one and only, the great Seth Milligan. Seth, welcome, sir.
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here.
Seth had a sweet microphone ready for this, but we couldn't pull it off.
Hey, look, if there's one thing I've learned, you can't have nothing, all right? You just can't have
Nope, you can't. You're certainly gonna have technical difficulties, because I do every time I try to go live on here. But brother, I'm glad to have you. Seth is my handsome prince of the Southern Police. He is in. You like all these nicknames?
No, it's great. This is totally new for me. I love it.
He's at Alabama. He's at the Bama. So told some good stories, told some college stories, some riot stories. Shooting in a crowd. It was a good episode, man. I'm happy to have you back. I wanted to address something, and you could probably sound off on this, Seth. Lately got a few messages to me from people who watch the show about Pride Month. So let me explain. The show, the company that hosts my podcast offers programmatic, dynamic, sounds like Grease, like it's programmatic, dynamic ads. So basically, wherever you are, your region, the time of day, what it takes all these things into account, and it will just pull from all these corporate ads, and it just inserts them at certain places into your podcast. It's like YouTube commercials, or old, like if you're old like we are, like TV commercials when we used to have those.
Yeah.
So I'm getting these messages like, "Hey, I didn't know you were on the Pride train. Hey, why?" And I'm like, at first I thought they were saying I was being proud, like I was being arrogant. I was like, wait, am I being overly proud? I was like, oh man, that's bad. I got to repent.
Pride comes before the fall, Steve. Don't you know that?
So I wrote to him and I said, what are you talking about? Because somebody else had written another message. I'm like, what is going on? And I guess there was some commercial with innuendo about Pride Month and whatever. So I'm just here to tell you guys, I'm not a supporter of Pride Month. I'm a Christian. I believe the Bible's and the inerrant Word of God. It's my religion. We're commanded to love, not hate, but we don't condone or promote sin. So that's as nuanced as I'm going to get into it. But at the same time, we're living in the world. The world is a sinful place, and if these companies want to throw an ad like that into the mix to a conservative audience and burn their dollars for no reason, I don't really have a big problem with it.
Yeah.
It's like no one in my podcast really listens, and I mean, but probably the vast majority doesn't really care about that stuff anyway. So
yeah. It's first off, amen to everything you just said. but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I'm sure you've noticed it too, but it just seems like it's just been so strongly propagated. Yeah, it's Pride Month, but even before Pride Month got here, it's been like Pride the last 2 years, it seems like. So it is, at the end of the day, sin is sin. They like to say love is love, but sin is sin. And, it manifests itself in different ways, and that just happens to be one of them. So,
and do you think, I agree, and do you think I have am I being like contradicting myself? Am I being a hypocrite by allowing? I mean, I have no control on how they insert these ads. I mean, I could shut them off for the month of June if I wanted. It is half the income that the show receives, and that doesn't receive a whole lot of income.
Right.
But
I wouldn't say you're being a hypocrite. That's for sure.
Okay.
At the end of the day, we're in the world. We live in the world. We're just not of it. So, there's a huge difference there.
All right, you heard him. You heard Seth Milligan. I'm good. Conscience cleared, brother. Let's see what we got for comments. Thank you, Seth. Whoa, what did I do? Good morning from Australia. Well, evening for you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Awesome. Dax Imus over across the pond in England. Good evening, gentlemen. How the devil are you? How dare you say that word? How the devil are you?
Top of the morning, too.
Yeah, we're doing great, man. Top of the morning, Governor. Gary, the great Gary Steiner. Sounds like your show and sport have been hijacked to make it appear that you're supporting a political agenda you not support. Very concerning. Gary, I hope you took my explanation to heart and are not going to tune out because of that. I know Gary's a great dude. He would never do that. Love me some Gary Steiner. Got to have him back on. Gary's one of those guys where you could literally give him any topic about policing and he can just like talk knowledgeably on it for like an hour. He's just
those guys are really hard to come about. So
Yeah.
it's good to have one of them laying around. That's for sure.
He's got that big brain. There we go. Absolutely. All right, Gare. So if we want to come back, get some more comments. Why I keep doing that? We'll come back here and we can just, when people check in, guys, glad you're listening. Listener ratings. I told you guys I would keep up with this, so I plan to. Seth, this is the part of the show where I went in and I grabbed the last couple ratings I have for the show on Apple Podcasts. I really appreciate that. We're almost to 1,000 reviews, Seth. So once you get over 1,000, we're with the big dogs. So I'm really shooting for that. And on YouTube, guys, if you don't subscribe to YouTube, I don't care if you even watch on YouTube, but if you have a YouTube account, can you go there and just subscribe? Because I'm at like 990. Once I get to 1,000 on that, then they'll pay me. So that would be cool if you guys could do that if you like the show. I was late to the YouTube game. I didn't even start putting the stuff up there regularly for a long time. So, I'm kind of a real dummy on that one. So, all right, so let's see here. June 2nd, Kylie Z. Well done. Very interesting. Leaves me on the edge of my seat. Steve is a great guy and comes through in his podcast. Agree 100%. There's that pride, Seth. Next one. June 1st, 2023 from FF. Amazing podcast. I want to go into law enforcement once I graduate from high school. So this is amazing, epic podcast. Thank you, sir. I truly appreciate it. And all credit to the guests, not me. Ava Rose from Washington. Great podcast. I've been listening since the very beginning. I'm amazed at the dedication that Steve puts into this. He's funny and humble, as I read a comment about myself, and always steps back to let his guests tell their stories. The men and women of law enforcement that we get to hear have very interesting and usually crazy stories to share. Thank you for what you do. Well, thank you very much. That's very sweet. I appreciate it. So, guys, I love you. I really appreciate the messages and the ratings and reviewings, and I'll continue to read them on Cops in the News. Seth, I want you to know when we're talking, because you don't have the headphones, sometimes if you can't try to chime in when I'm talking, it doesn't come through, just so you know.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Gotcha. Loud and clear.
I got to give you a little space for when you need to talk. So that being said, the first story, guys, we have a bunch of good ones. We have Texas playing with the age limit for police officers. We have the police being banned from LGBTQ parades. We have 2 shootings in Denver, Colorado in the same day. A deputy gets sucked into a drain pipe and lives to tell about it. A woman wakes up at her own funeral, comes back to life. People in Japan, they're teaching them how to smile again. Not joking. Their facial muscles need to be retrained. Talk about stoic people. I mean, I was smiling under my mask all the time, but these guys, nothing to smile about. A Finnish motorist gets a speeding ticket for over $100,000, and a homeowner mistakenly takes a .357 Magnum to his own leg. So, Seth, starting out, we're going with the Texas age limit. Can you present that for us? What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, it gets set into a law. So I think it's effective September the 1st. It's been passed by the Texas legislature and signed by Governor Abbott. It removes the age gap for men and women interested in applying to law enforcement. Basically, there's still the beginning. You got to at least be 18 years old to apply as a law enforcement officer.
That's young.
But, yeah, no, it's super young. And but there used to be a limit. It used to be 44 years of age, but now they've completely abolished that, and there is no age limit, which I could see positives to that, but I can also see negatives to that too. So, but at the end of the day, I think there's still standards you have to meet before you are actually hired. So at the end of the day, I think if someone can meet those standards and is a competent human being, I don't see why it would be an issue, honestly. What about you?
Yeah, we can't have ageism. Seth. We got to get rid of that. Yeah, but I'm with you, man. My police academy, there was like, I think 50 or so of us in the class, and we had a 50-year-old retired postmaster. But the guy was thin. He was in good shape. He could run. He did all the APP, the searches, the DT. He was fine. So why couldn't this guy spend the next 10 years of his life as a cop?
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely. And the day and age we live in, like, nobody wants to be cops anymore, it seems like. I don't know about y'all's departments, but like right now, our department is short. I want to say it's 33, 34 officers, something like that. So, I mean, we're killing for some cops, man. We're killing for some.
Yeah. Everybody is, absolutely. We where I work, we just got, we filled a full-time spot, and we got 2 more reserves on that I'm working with now to get them good to go for the road. And we're just so grateful. We're like, oh my gosh, because it's like, what are you going to do? There's no one to work these shifts. I was going to say 18 years old, man. That's really young, man. Like just because they can, they probably don't in most cases. Maybe out in the country of Texas they do. They you come on and you work part-time and go with the senior guy or something. But I can't imagine like Dallas, Fort Worth, or like Houston being like, come on, kid. When you see an 18-year-old and, it's like they look like children. I can't imagine.
Yeah, and it's crazy because 18-year-old now and 18-year-old when I was 18 years old, it's different. Like, it changes over the years.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. As cops, we're not the most mature people in the world, okay? Our humor is absolutely ridiculous sometimes. But 18 years old, man, goodness gracious, I could not imagine my daughter at 18 years old saying, Dad, I'm going to go be a cop. Like, holy crap, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you totally. And yeah, you're right. People are different. I mean, after World War II, 18, 19, 20-year-olds came home, bought a house, got married, had kids, and worked in the factory. Like, they were like men, essentially. Yeah. 18-year-olds now are like, they're like 12-year-olds, It's totally different. I mean, in Mass, they talked about, for a while in Mass, they talked about, they were commenting on the study that was done, and they were saying the optimal age for a person to start a police career is 27 years old. Because that, especially like the male brain, that's like, you've experienced life, your frontal lobe and everything is like all set. You're kind of the person you're going to be for the next 10 years. And they basically looked at it and they were like, it's impossible. No one's going to hold out no one's going to get out of college at 22 or the military or graduate high school and be like, yeah, I'll just start this other career for almost 10 years and then switch to start at the bottom. Like, you would have no cops if they did that,
Yeah. And I don't know, like, in our department, a lot of times the young officers, even if you're not young, if you're a new officer, you have to earn your way in. I mean, it's as a rookie officer, people are different to rookies. Like, they got a different attitude towards them. I mean, they've got to earn their way. They got to earn their stripes,
Sure.
So to have, military background, and heck, maybe a high ranking in the military, and to come to be a rookie officer and to have that attitude kind of being pushed towards you, I would probably not be able to do that, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're good with the 18 is kind of sketchy. Hopefully they're not really doing that. And the 44, what was it before? Oh, it was 44. They removed it. So now it's like limitless.
So, hey, 85-year-old man in absolute great shape. Come on.
Oh, man, did you see that guy in Alabama, the black guy who was like 90?
Yeah. Look, I would give anything to see him chase somebody on his hover round. I mean, that would just be phenomenal. Have little lights on a hover round. That would be
on a brat. Beep.
Yeah. You wouldn't even need a siren. All you got to do is be like, wee. That's it.
Let's do it. Start it down there. We'll catch on. Let me see. Oh, here we go. On topic, kind of, for what we were talking about before. So, the Seattle Pride Parade bans uniformed police from marching again. It caused a huge problem before. Now they're saying, like, police officers can come, like the gay police officers can come, but they can't be in uniform. which essentially eliminate, like, they're cool with the police being there for security and traffic and to protect them. But this very inclusive community has decided that police are a bad look. And the only thing they cite in this article is a police incident from 1969 having to do with like a gay cops putting down a gay parade or something like that. It's like that's like the thing they're holding on to for this. So I think it's just kind of talk about hypocritical, you know?
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. And to be in a quote unquote inclusive community and to be accepting of all, they're not very accepting of our side at all. So
yeah, especially their fellow gays that are cops. You know, maybe they want to. You know, they can't be proud of their profession. You know, that type of thing. So to me, obviously, no big loss. Who cares? But you know, it's just the hypocrisy of it is kind of gross.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I mean, I can honestly say that I know of one person, and he's a great guy, like super great guy. But when it comes to politics and it comes to certain, you know, beliefs and stuff like that, he is way off in left field, man. And we've had discussions after discussions, and it's like, I don't understand your thought process. But thankfully, you know, we have, you know, good cordial discussions, and but man, like I just don't see how being a cop and having that mindset, I don't know how that jives, honestly.
Yeah, it's tough. That it is tough. You know, it's nice to hear you can have conversations with them though, and like stay cordial and be friends. That's the way it's supposed to be. Like I always say this, but it was, I feel like when I was growing up in the 80s and early 90s, it was like all this stuff was like Coke and Pepsi type of stuff, like left, right, whatever. It was like you start to get in a little argument at a party. It was, hey, you know what? Forget about it. You know, who cares? You knucklehead. It was over. Now it's more like, well, where do you work? I'm gonna try to get fired from your job because you have this opposing view to me. Like it's really gross and horrible.
I think if more people would come together and be able to have discussions and explain, listen, I believe this, and this is what I hold to for these reasons, and listen to the other side, even though we may disagree. I love talking to somebody that I disagree with. I think it's fun. I think it's a good learning process. And sometimes it tests what you believe in and what you hold to. So I think anybody, and especially from a Christian standpoint, like I can't tell you how many Christians I've run into is like, oh, I believe this or I believe that. Okay, well, why do you believe that? Oh, well, because my pastor said it or because mama said it. You know, well,
mama.
Yeah, you gotta have a reason why you believe what you believe. Like you can't just say because someone else believes it. A lot of people don't have a reason. It's just because, and that's the way it is. But it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, like St. Peter said, you always have a good defense for your faith. You know, always be ready.
Yeah,
all right, brother. Next one coming up is unbelievably. I mean, Denver's a major city, but they had 2 officers shot in the same day in Denver. One of them was just a straight up ambush. And the video I'm going to show it's pretty spooky because we have all, as a police officer, and if you're not a cop, you got to realize like you're not so self-aware all the time. Like when you're driving in your car, sometimes you can drive around and patrol around for a while if it's quiet, and you even kind of forget you're like in a marked car. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, for a second you'll be like, oh, I'm in a cop car. Someone will, do whatever, or you maybe ever forget your lights are on, and then like the people are pulling over, and you're like, ugh, that was stupid. Let me go down a side street, pretend there was an emergency. Yeah. But you can kind of like drift off on that, and then you can also sit on the side of the road and run radar, or maybe you're entering tickets or writing down notes, and we're just not. Although they train us not to be, but you do go into that like that zone of like you're not completely in control or aware of your surroundings. You kind of, you just don't feel like you're threatened. You're lulled into this false sense of security, even though you're a big target because it's painted on the side of your car. And that's exactly what it looks like. This cop in this video, what happened to him, what could happen to any of us. He's just sitting, I think in front of a bank or something, or some kind of hotel. That's right, in front of a hotel, and he's just sitting there. And you'll see. I'll play the video here. I'll have to skip ahead a little bit. So it's silent at first. They put his radio transmissions in, but this guy just walks by in a jacket. He goes into the hotel lobby. No big deal. The cop's in his car, just kind of chilling, got his arm out the window. Guy goes in, no big deal. And then, skip ahead. There's a bunch of time lapses. He's still chilling there. The guy comes out right here, and he's walking towards the cop, reaches in under his jacket. Boom, 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 boom. I think he shot a total of 18 rounds into the cop. So the cop, he falls back in his seat. He rolls out onto the tar, immediately gains cover, and he's firing over the hood of his car now, returning fire. I think we'll get some.
Shots fired. I'm hit. Shots fired. I'm hit.
So he was hit in the torso and twice in the back.
260129. I'm hit. Suspect, I think, is down.
260129, shots fired. Officer down. Switch to channel 1.
Yeah, I will say this, though. That officer, to react the way he did, start using the pillars of the car like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, he reacted. It was like he was ready for it.
Yeah.
I heard shots.
So he ends up taking the guy.
I'm on my feet. I still got eyes on the suspect. Where are you? 260129 in the front by the main entrance.
So you got to understand at this point, like you've been hit 3 times with 300 to 500 foot-pounds of pressure from a handgun round. So he doesn't know. He's so jacked up. He probably really doesn't know what bullets went in, what bullets didn't go in. So if it were me, I would think I was dying. I'd be like, all right, get here. I've been shot. Come get me. But he holds it together, man.
Oh yeah, and he stays behind what little cover he can use, and keeps giving radio traffic of the suspect, and that's a solid execution right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he has. I have the article here. I think he has a bunch of years on the job, maybe 13 years on the job. I think so. He's definitely a vet. 18. He fired the Glock 9mm 18 times at the officer. Hit him 3. Man, that's
He's
nasty.
a poor 18 to 3. Come on.
Yep.
Jeez.
I know. Thank goodness he wasn't hitting the range more.
Yeah, for real.
And to this guy's credit, at the end here, he actually called. He goes, the suspect's down. I can see him. He's down. He's not moving. Send an ambulance in. So, I mean, obviously, I'd be like, send the ambulance in for me.
Yeah.
First one to me, then that guy. But it kind of sounds like he's thinking about the suspect still. He's thinking about getting this guy aid, which was like one of the craziest lawsuits I ever saw was in L.A. when they did that robbery takeover. They had AK-47s and they pinned all the LAPD officers down. And then the family sued because the cops stood around afterwards and didn't give these guys aid. It was like, who cares what? Yeah, let these dirtbags die.
Yeah. And adrenaline is a crazy thing, man. It is so crazy. Like a couple days ago, I worked midnight shift, obviously, and it was early in the morning, and we get an active shooter call at our regional hospital, which is right down the road from where I was. And me and my partner, we go flying over there, and adrenaline pumping. We got our rifles. We're going into the hospital as fast as we can. And then come to find out it was a miscommunication, and there were shots fired across the street, and nobody was hit, couldn't even find a scene. But man, the adrenaline that dumped in my body in that moment,
I bet.
Absolutely unbelievable, man. It was crazy. You get to breathing heavy, and it's crazy.
Yeah, and then you're stuck with it. It's like, all right, time to de-escalate the situation, and you're like, it's just coursing through your body.
Yeah, it was absolutely intense. I told my wife, I was like, it wasn't even an active, like a real active shooter, but in my mind, it was going down, and I was ready. But it was like, holy moly, man! I was trying to stay awake when the call come out. I was like exhausted, and then bam, that adrenaline pumped in, and I was like ready to go.
That's really, really good for your body too. Just like dumping nitrous into your blood.
Yeah. Great.
Hey man, I'd be thinking the same way you are, especially with I don't know if it was near you, but where was that bank one at? That was in the South, wasn't it? The guy that went into the bank and
Yeah, it was in Louisville, I believe.
Louisville, yeah, that's right. So I mean, it's not
What's crazy is the suspect graduated from the University of Alabama, and he was in Tuscaloosa for however many years. And I'm thinking to myself, what if he decided to do this in our town? It's absolutely crazy. Some of those things, you don't really realize how close some of that stuff hits home.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's terrifying. Let's see what we got for comments here. Hello from Colorado Springs. Mike Robinson, welcome, sir. Gary Steiner, been there, done that. My grandson will be entering a local PD Academy in August. Got to support the blue. Hell yeah, Gary. Dak Simon says, withdraw all uniform presents to the parade. Let them get what they want. Give them consequences. Yeah. See how they like that. Absolutely. That's it. Yeah, for sure. Let me see. All right, the second shooting. This one's not an ambush. So they got the shot spotters are going off in the city, and it's for this area. The cop shows up to. They search for a little bit, and they get a juvenile on a scooter. And the gun this kid has, when I'll show you at the end, I couldn't even. I was like, is he holding a shoehorn? What? I'm like, I hope that's a gun because he just shot the kid a bunch of times. It is a gun. It's like a little tiny handgun with a 50-round drum on the bottom.
Dude, juveniles they're ridiculous, man. Like, I don't know what it is in other places, but juveniles that we deal with, they don't care, man. They do not care. They will shoot you in a heartbeat and not give a crap.
Yeah, I've seen like videos online of like kids going into high school and they open up like their LL Bean book bag and there's like 7 Glocks in there. There's an MP5. It's like, what the hell? Bring the metal detectors back. Jeez.
Yeah, for real. Absolutely.
All right, so let's check this out, Seth. So he's running code to this call, obviously. It's kind of long. Let me skip ahead. He's getting out. He's found the kid.
Get off it. Get off it.
He's on the scooter. He takes off on foot.
032. We got this guy on the scooter. He's now going northbound.
All right, so he's still on the scooter.
You're going to get fucked up, man. You better stop. You're going to get fucked up.
Oh.
Let him know.
Where'd you go? Back down, back down. We are. He's not going.
Like poor car's transmission.
Yeah.
The
fuck out of the way!
He's pumped.
Yeah. We've all been there.
Yep. There we go. He's got him. Run him down.
Drop it, motherfucker! I'm gonna shoot you! Drop it! Drop it! Drop it!
So he just lays the kid out. So right next to him right there is the gun. And the kid did, I guess, fire a round back at the officer. And it's weird because he's like, if you're going to go to battle like that with the police, you'd think he wouldn't be, act like a little girl. Like he's like, ah! It's like, what do you think? This isn't a video game, bro. Like, you shot at the police. And this officer's not like, you can tell he's like Tactical Tommy. He's got the red dot. He's got the extended mag. Like, this guy's, he knows what to do. Like, he's not hesitating.
These juveniles are not ready. They're not ready for that kind of encounter. They think they are, but they're really not.
Right.
Get off it! Get off it! Get off it! I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker!
That guy who did the shooting now, he's like in battle mode. And people are criticizing that, but it's like, he just shot a guy. Like, you think harsh words? He just put bullets in his body. I think he could say just about anything at this point. He's in kill mode. That's what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And when, like we talked about with adrenaline, man, when that stuff starts dumping, you're in battle mode, and until it calms down, you're balls to the wall, man.
Yep. So, see that gun? It almost looks like a taser, but it's a little teeny handgun. You can see and then it's got this drum magazine, which I didn't even know they made stuff. Like, why would you ever put a drum on like a micro pistol? And this kid's just riding around the neighborhood on a scooter, just blasting it, just having a good time.
We have a lot of those. We've recovered a lot of those in our city, and I don't know where these kids are getting them at, man, but there's a ton of them out there.
It's crazy. I mean, so the black market for guns in the cities is like pretty easy. You can get pretty much anything you want.
Oh yeah.
People think if they ban guns and that's going to go away. No, then they'll just have the guns. That's what will happen.
Yeah. We'll be defenseless. Yep.
Yeah, totally crazy, man. Well, people should know too. The kid he actually lives. He doesn't. So the officer showed good restraint there. He fired till the threat was down, separated from his weapon, and he didn't keep shooting. So I think this is they're obviously like looking at it with the fine tooth comb, but to me, just from what I've seen this video, it's a good shoot all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the dude's running with a gun. I mean, you could definitely articulate deadly force at that point. I mean, there's no telling, and I don't even know background as far as who the kid was or whatever, but he may know the kid more. But I mean, so much goes into that. People don't think about that, man. We're making split-second decisions in circumstances that are tense, rapidly evolving, and uncertain. I mean, that's Supreme Court language. So, we've got to make those decisions. They're tough, man.
You know what they're doing now, you notice, is they're probably going to use in this kid's lawsuit, who will no doubt sue the city for this, or his family will. They're going to put into it that, well, in their first encounter, the officer made him afraid for his life. So they're going to discount, all the laws the kid broke in the presence and deadly threat he was presenting to the community. That's all discounted because the officer scared him. And that's why he ran, and that's why he shot at him. And the courts are actually listening to this garbage. They're taking this into account. It's like, it's nuts.
Well, and people know that too. I can't tell you how many times we've chased somebody or had to fight somebody, and we're like, dude, why did you do that? You only had like an expired driver's license or something crazy like that. And they're like, I was afraid for my life, and it's like, I mean, come on. I mean, I was not going to do anything to you till you started trying to fight me, I mean, come on.
Right. Yeah, it got even down to little tiny stuff, like the people who you ever have a guy that you pull over just for a traffic violation and they swear at you, and you're like, I always tell them, like, I pull everybody over to give them a warning. They earn the ticket when I talk to them. You just got one. And then they hit the roof. But it's like, dude, I've had people actually tell me to F off first words out of their mouth on a traffic stop.
Don't you love those? Don't you just love it?
It's unreal. And then and they really worry me too, because it's like it's kind of a reckless abandonment of total disrespect of the law itself. Like, it's a total like reckless abandonment to me. It's like, if you're willing to act like this, or why are you starting like this? Because you're gonna, that's not enough to get him out of the car. But it's like, are you gonna shoot me next? Like, where's your line? Because we're starting there. You clearly have a different. You're living on a different set of rules than everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times it's just they feel that they're entitled, that they shouldn't have to be stopped for whatever reason. The main thing I get all the time is, why are you stopping me for running a stop sign when we got people getting shot and killed out here? Well, guess what? Sometimes traffic stops actually solve crimes like that. That's part of our job. That's what we do. It's called proactive policing. We're trying to get this stuff before it happens. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've stopped cars and, get consent to search the car. Hey, we've got a gun. We've got a ski mask. We've got gloves. We've got a bag. Like, hey, something was about to happen, Right.
Yeah. It's kind of part and partial to the broken pane theory of windows, like that they teach in academy. It's kind of like with, like I've mentioned before in the show, but with like motorcycles, in mass, we will not, it's over. We do not pursue. But they know. So now it's encouraging it. Like, I'll have a bike go by me. I'll be on a traffic stop and a bike will go by me at like 1:30.
Yeah.
Because he knows I can't get his plate. I can't get a good description. And he's just gone, and he's going in a direction where he could go to 3 different places. So it's like, how many times are you can get on the radio and call ahead and be like, hey, another one blew by me. But it's because they know we can't do anything. So now, the whole idea was, well, it really just puts the motorcyclists in danger because they're the one that's going to die. If they hit a car, the car's probably going to be okay. So now to protect them from themselves, we're not enforcing the law, and they're pushing it even further, which to me is like a snake eating its own tail. It's like, what are we doing here? So
we there for just a small time. We had one guy on this little crotch rocket going through town like 120, flying everywhere. Well, finally, obviously it's not in our policy to not chase motorcycles. It's just highly frowned upon, and it's more than likely going to get terminated if you do try to chase one.
Right.
But during evening shift, we had this same dude like every day would come flying through town and everything. Well, finally, we're like, hey, we're going to get this guy. So we don't pursue him. We get Air One up, get our helicopter up. They just follow him to his house, and we go to his house and just arrest him. It's like
beautiful.
It's like, come on, man. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, you're probably faster than us, but you can't outsmart us.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, I don't work where we have an air wing. Well, we have an air wing at our disposal, but it's the state police's air wing, and they probably they might not be down for an operation like that.
Well, we actually use our drone a lot more now. We have a really nice drone, and it has like thermal imaging, all that stuff in it. It's high tech. It's pretty nice. That comes in handy, especially at nighttime.
Yeah, I heard the new ones are really sick. When I was on Cape Cod probably 10 years ago when the drone thing first started, and like DJI, that corporation made, even then they were like GPS tethered. They were amazing. We had I ended up getting one with a tax return one year. It was sick. And this other officer 2 towns over got like the good one with the really good camera and really good range. Like I think it had like a 2-mile range. And before you had to register your drone with the FAA, before you had to take a drone operator's class, he was doing drug stuff with my department. He was on the task force, and he was getting cars at places. From you like go to the power, like go where the power lines go, and put the thing up and go around. And it was friggin'. Even then, it was sick.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways you could utilize these things. I mean, the drone that we have it's freaking humongous, man. It's huge. But in my mind, I'm thinking we could use some of these smaller ones if we're needing to go through a house or something like that, and there's a suspect in there. We can send that thing in and get some kind of images of where he is and watch him before our officers actually go in or something like that. I mean, there's so many ways you could utilize these things.
Yeah, I'd like to put a handgun, that one that can operate a handgun. That'd be cool. just what the public wants.
It would shoot everyone. It would go rogue. It would go rogue. We would have to shoot it down.
Skynet is born. All right, brother. This next one is you. It's the deputy sucked into the drain. It's a video, so I'll play the video. If you want to set it up, I'll play the video and pause it whenever you tell me.
Yeah. So I seen this, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" But so basically, this guy, Deputy Hollingsworth. There's some bad floodwaters, and he's trying to help these citizens get across the floodwaters. This dude goes in. He's like, "Hey, come to me." The dude goes in to the water and gets sucked underneath the water and into the pipes.
Terrifying.
So what does this guy do? He jumps in after him. I'm like, heck yeah. And then they both get sucked in, and they come out the other side together. He actually makes a comment about that in there, and the dude's like, "Hey, man, I come back up, and there you were beside me." So it was like, that's great. That's good. That's good police work, man. Good police work.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but it was in Pensacola.
Vehicles here in front of Sherman Williams on 98.
It is raining like crazy in this video.
Oh yeah.
There he goes. It's just black. He's going, like, you can see water a few times. 30 seconds. 100-foot drain pipe.
Absolutely terrifying.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus, buddy. Hey, David. David? believe what just happened to us? You okay, buddy? Can you believe what
I love it.
Oh, just breathe. Just breathe, bro. Oh, my God. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
I love the praise.
Oh, Jesus. Oh,
Absolutely.
suck me in. Oh, my God. Did you go through that? I did. I never held my breath like that in my life. I mean, either. Oh. Let's hold on to each other. Yeah.
Dude, the guy that went through with him is so traumatized. He's like,
Dude, I absolutely hate water, man. I look, I'm short anyway, so and I can't swim well. Like, could you imagine with all of our gear on getting sucked underwater like that? In your mind, you're like, "Oh, it's over. It's done. This
oh
is
yeah,
it."
definitely. You think it's over?
Side, you're just like, "Thank you, Jesus."
Yep, absolutely, man. Yeah, that's terrifying. When I was a kid, like 4 years old, I still remember my tonsils would get huge at night. And I didn't know that, but I used to have dreams that I was stuck underwater or I was under the ice in a pond and I couldn't break through the ice. And my parents said they would come in the room and I legit couldn't breathe. They'd have to reposition me.
Wow.
So I had emergency surgery to have my tonsils taken out. But those dreams as a kid in water have really stuck with me. And I've had some friends, older brothers, like one of my friends had a pool and his older brother would come and give us like washing machines, like, hold you underwater against your will.
Oh.
No thanks.
Hate it. And since your surgery, you've got a beautiful singing voice now, right?
That's right. Yeah, I got
like
golden.
Like a mixture between Fergie and Jesus, right?
I don't want to brag, but I'm this generation songbird. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude, that was a great video. I totally. When I first watched it, I was like, "What is happening right now?" Because it just goes black and it's just bubbles and water, shoop, right out the other side. So God had his back.
Like he goes underneath the highway. Like I don't know how big that drainage pipe was, but I think I'm a little bit claustrophobic too. So that the water with the tight pipe, like, oh my God, that just makes me cringe.
Yeah, dude, I'm claustrophobic. I've talked about this on here before. I had it sneaks up on me. I think I'm over it. Like I remember one time we went somewhere in a squad car. I think it was during academy, and I had to sit in the back in the cage. And you can't let yourself out. And it started getting to me. By the time we got there, I was ready to get out. I was like, let me out of the car. And they're like, all right, we're going to let you out. And just get me out of this car. The fact that I couldn't leave, I also couldn't think about we're on the highway. What if it rolls over? I got bars on the windows. The doors are locked. I'm stuck. You guys can get out. And it started freaking me out. And so during my church does this living nativity, which is really cool. We bring in like donkeys and it's a whole, everybody gets in character. We learn Hebrew and Greek, and we learn Latin. And so I was a Roman guard, and we double as security for the event. Like we kind of keep the kids in line. Nice. But the leather breastplate I had to wear, the guy, he couldn't fix it in time, so he had to fasten it, and he had to pull it up over my head and shimmy it down over me. And I'm like, was a little too chubby for it. And I'm sitting there in the basement of my church going, please don't freak out. Don't freak out. So my buddy Tom, I'm like, Tom, if I have to get this thing off for some reason, he's like, yeah, just get me and I'll help you get it out. I'm like, dude, there's going to be thousands of people out there. Or not thousands, hundreds of people. He's like, yeah, it could, if you had to, you could probably, break it open. Yeah. And just that, I was like, okay. But dude, that constriction on my body, knowing I couldn't get it off, and I had a bunch of layers on under it, I was sweating a little bit. I was starting a little panicky.
The ginger Roman, I could see that now. That's great.
At the time too, I had the big beard, so it must have been like they conquered a Celtic country and brought me back.
That's great.
All right, let's see here. All right, this one's a little wacky, guys. You know how I like to go with the next two are wacky, but I just think this one was it was so interesting to me. So this is Ecuador, and this woman, it's her wake, and they hear knocking on the coffin, and they open it up, and the lady is still alive. So I know nothing about Ecuador hospitals or their medical system. I hear they're not so great, but this is probably evidence of that. But this is a little video of her family realizing she's alive. the place looks like a basement. There's like a floor fan. There's a few like. She looks dead. I mean, her face is like her cheeks are sunken in. But yeah, look at her moving her mouth. It's like, Seth, do they just take you from your hospital bed and throw you in a box? She's wearing like normal clothes and she's not embalmed. I mean, which I don't have a problem with, but it's like, if you're going to do that, you got to be really sure. I mean, that's why they have wakes, right? See if the person wakes up, because back in the day, they weren't good at checking.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, I don't know what their procedures are, but my God, like, what doctor made this call? Like, what doctor said, yeah, the heart's not beating, throw her in the coffin? Like, goodness gracious.
Crazy. So she lived another 7 days. And then she succumbed, but they said, like being in the coffin with the low oxygen definitely did not help for longevity of her life. And it just, what a way to terrify an old lady before she dies. Like, why don't you spend 10 hours in
claustrophobia? Holy crap.
Imagine they buried her when she woke up. Dude, not cool. Not cool, Ecuador. Ecuador claims, according to the article, they are doing an internal investigation to find out who signed this death certificate. So, and this lady herself is a nurse. So, no F's given for your own profession.
So ironic. Oh my gosh.
Brutal. Yeah, I'm sure the second wake they were like slapping her on the face, like, okay, she's dead now. Oh man. So that one was a little silly. I just thought it was amazing. I heard about this stuff like in history class in like the medieval times. Or they used to have like a bell. They would have, graveyard shift was like someone would stay up overnight in the graveyard and they heard a bell ringing. They'd dig them up because they came back to life or whatever.
Oh my gosh. So how old was she? Does it say how old she was?
Yeah, I think she's quite old. Let me see. Oh, she's only 76. It's not that old.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm in my 80s and I'm pronounced dead, and like I don't know if I want to come back after that. I mean, come on. Jeez.
I know. Yeah, it's like Monty Python. Bring out your dad. He's like, I'm not dead yet. He's like, close enough. Put him on the cot. Oh man. All right, let's see here. This one is this one's wild, Seth. It's really weird. So, apparently in Japan, now we all know the Asian countries are prone to mask wearing. Like before this whole pandemic thing came, I often asked people I was with when I went to, like, if you went to Boston or LA or New York, a lot of Asians they would be wearing masks like during all the time. They would wear them in public. So I always thought it's kind of like part of their culture. So I think it hit double hard with COVID when they were like, we were right. And then they were like, they said only 8% of people in Japan have actually given up the mask totally. So like a high percentage of them are still wearing them. And people in Japan who got used to face masks during COVID are attending smiling lessons because they're experiencing muscle fatigue in their facial muscles, which is insane. Because even when I wore a mask, like I said a little bit in the beginning, because when you smile, your eyes, smiling eyes, people can tell you're smiling by your brow, kind of. So I smiled and acted like I normally would under my mask. So these people, like, they put the mask on, it was just like stone face, like no reason to smile. Just
jeez. Yeah. I mean, my thing is like you smile because of you're happy or, whatever, like you smile because of how you feel. Were they just unhappy during this whole time?
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, the thing about Japan that I've read and heard is it's like you can literally take like your wallet and put it on the hood of your car and go into and get a cup of coffee and come back like in a city, and it will be there because it's a high trust society because it borders on fascistic, like it's fascism. It's extreme punishments for ignoring law and order. So, but it creates this high trust society where nobody's going to do anything wrong. So I don't know what orders they were given from their government officials, but I'm sure if they were told this is a solemn time, don't go around smiling, they probably wouldn't. They would probably hold that smile in. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Gosh almighty. Odd, man. That is so odd.
You see the lady in the bottom right picture? She's like pointing. She has her finger up in the corner of her mouth. She's like, no, like this, silly.
I want to know what that dude's doing with his face that she's having to go, no, you have to push it up.
He's frowning. No, it's
I don't
totally. Oh, here we go. Jojo Carter says we should follow Japan on Law and Order. Well, yeah, we might swing that way with what's going on now.
Small town Alabama. We're basically that way.
Right. Jojo Carter, you would feel pretty drained after that. Hey-o!
Hey!
Nailed it. Anthony Benetti, welcome, sir. That doctor should be coughing up the details. I agree. All right. Okay, next one. Next one's another wild one that kind of like when I look for these stories, after we find some like good legit police ones, I always look for like some ridiculous stuff. And this one, it's police related, but it is pretty odd. A driver in Finland is fined $129,000 for speeding because in Finland they do it. They have a formula for your speed. I think he was like 18 miles an hour over, by the way. They do it by speed, but also income. So you would think this guy's worth like, with that kind of ticket, I'm like, all right, the guy's a billionaire probably for the formula to get that high. He's not. Yeah. His net worth $10 million, which is a lot, but it's like, it's not that much. I mean, this guy's like the guy who works at, the local mill. His speeding ticket's going to be $25, and this guy's going to pay $129,000.
Wow.
He says his name is Anders Wicklove. I really regret the matter. He's 76 years old, a newspaper from Åland Islands in autonomous Finnish region in the Baltic Sea. I just started slowing down, but I guess that didn't happen fast enough. It's how it goes. So the guy's totally accepting of it. I mean, I wonder if there's an appeals process here because I would be all over that.
Wow. I wonder if that's his first ticket. Like, surely, if he's been wealthy like this for a while, I mean, has he got any other tickets?
Yes, he has. He was fined €63,000 in 2018, 5 years after being hit with a €95,000 ticket for the same offense. So this is his third time. Still, like, no amount of speeding times to me is going to justify that kind of ticket.
Oh my gosh, I could not imagine that. You're talking about ruining a Christmas. Holy crap.
Oh man, that's insane. So, I mean, he's insane for speeding though, honestly.
Yeah.
If that's the way they are, I'd get a Tesla and just put it on auto, screw it.
Yeah. Cruise control, man. Just cruise control everywhere.
Let it park itself. Dude, these cars do everything now. We have an officer who works for us, and she has a car that it's like a Hyundai, but it's one of those hybrids. It makes a singy song, like whoa, like when it goes by, like you hear heaven before it sends you there. It sounds like an angel. But she was telling me the other day, she's like, she was leaving shift, and she's like, check this out. We're in the parking lot. She's like, I can actually back up my car standing here with my remote. I'm like, really? So I guess it's basically made for you. You parallel park, and you don't want to be too close to somebody so they can get out. You can get out and adjust it, and it has sensors so it won't hit the car. Or if someone parks or if you need to inch towards something and you want to get out and have your own eyes on it.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, it's really neat technology, but it's kind of incredible to me how quickly they approved it. Like all of a sudden that like Tesla cars are driving themselves. They've done test runs with tractor trailers that have killed people, by the way, like on these like driverless test runs. And it's just like, it's just okay. I thought it's just weird to me because in some of these crashes have happened in really litigious states like California. Like you kill somebody with your auto driving car, you're paying out a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I saw a video the other day of this lady. It was like an Uber, but it was a car that drives itself. You like get in the back seat, type in where you want it to go, and then it just goes there. Like it was. I'm like, why? I just don't think I could trust that right now.
Do you remember Johnny Cab from Total Recall? Welcome to Johnny Cab. Enjoy the ride. He's like turns around. Yeah, Johnny Cab.
Oh,
No thanks. Final story, brothers, all you.
Ah, boy, do I have a doozy. It's not too crazy, but it's interesting. So a suburban Chicago man is facing firearm charges after he told officers he accidentally shot himself in the leg while dreaming that an intruder was breaking into his home. So it was the Lake Barrington, I think is the area. He was charged 2 months after he shot himself in the leg by accident. Because apparently he was not supposed to have guns. So he got charged. He's a 62-year-old man. They found him with a gunshot wound. He applied the tourniquet and basically, it says here in quotes that he was losing a significant amount of blood. So I would imagine he probably nicked an artery or something like that. Seemed like it was probably a legit, shooting. So, but yeah, after he got better, they sought charges on him because he wasn't supposed to have the firearm to begin with.
Yeah, I read that article, Seth, and you can tell the PD. I kind of feel like they didn't want to because it was 2 months later. They were probably like, the guy shot himself with a .357 Magnum. Isn't that enough? But I'm sure they were like, we gotta charge him.
Some lieutenants like, hook him up. Let's go.
Right.
Why is this not done yet?
Exactly. Talk about the wrong gun to shoot yourself with. For people who don't know, the .357 Magnum, it's essentially the same size as a 9mm or a 38, but it's got just a buttload of powder, and it goes at about 1,500 feet per second. And it from what I've read, because I'm kind of a ballistics geek a little bit, it is like one of the number one man killers for one-shot kills because it hits you with so many foot-pounds of pressure that like even nearby organs can be liquefied by the force which the .357 Magnum hits you with. And this guy point blank shot his thigh. So I bet you, I mean, he could have broke his femur, like you said, busted an artery open. Like that's a hand cannon.
Yeah, is he surprised? I'm surprised he even has a leg at this point.
Yeah, and even if he could have a gun, like if you're capable of, I mean, I've even thought about that before. Like in my younger days, I would keep I wasn't shy about keeping, no kids, keeping a handgun in the nightstand. But I was like, you know what? When you wake up, sometimes you're not quite. So I decided that it would probably be better to have to get up, stand on your feet, and walk to the gun. Because that kind of like that process. So now I have a lockbox I can just walk over to. But because of something like this, I never had it at arm's length when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I mean this man's 62 years old. I mean, he's an older dude. I mean, he's not ancient, but I mean he's older. So I just wonder how long it took him to call 911 after he shot himself in the leg.
Oh, it would take me a while. I'd be like, can I do this myself? I'd be like doing the tourniquet. Like, can I get in the car? No, I'm starting to pass out. Damn it. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. When you go to the hospital, they report it immediately. Unless you can play.
It's weird because I've been to several of these where, someone's got shot in the foot, someone's got shot in the leg. And they always give this story. Oh, some dude come by and just shot me, And it's like, no, that's not what happened. Look at the trajectory of this bullet. It goes straight down into your foot. Like, he just walks straight up to you and it's like, pow, right in the foot. Really? Expect us to believe that? They always come off. They're always like, yeah, I shot myself.
How do they, in where you are, how do they treat that? Do they charge them with illegal discharge or anything like that if they're properly licensed?
Not normally. Normally they chalk it up as an accidental shooting and basically be like, hey, be smarter next time. But yeah, normally they don't push it too far, honestly.
Maybe take a class on handling firearms.
Yeah, I mean that's what needs to happen. But I don't know, man. It is this world is absolutely crazy. I can't tell you how many times I've either been to something stupid like that, or somebody that we actually had one time. We had it was a bunch of juveniles. Shocker. They were shooting at each other, and this guy was shooting with his friend at the other juveniles, and his friend walked in front of him. It was a crossfire kind of thing, and he shot his friend right in the back of the head. And
Oh,
oh, it was bad. Like there was like they posted video on like YouTube and Facebook, like holding this dude's dead body with his head half hanging out. Like, it was like crazy, man. It was absolutely crazy.
it's like
And
no
I actually
remorse, huh?
Yeah, like I worked that crime scene. I was actually on the crime scene unit then. I was crime scene photographer, but I'll never forget that scene because it rained so hard. I thought the body was going to wash away. It was crazy.
Dude, that's insane. They were like posing his dead body, like laughing and taking pictures.
No. Like his friends were like holding his dead body, like crying, like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened,"
But filming it.
But filming it, yeah. How convenient.
What a desperate generation.
Holy moly, man!
It's almost as bad as starting your own video podcast,
Look, hey, Milligan's Island is going to be coming soon. I know I've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's coming soon. I've got to get some kinks worked out. Obviously, this microphone situation.
So you got to learn how to work a microphone first.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm excited for you. What's going to be the Milligan's Island? What is going to be the theme?
So basically, it's just going to be like current events, that, or maybe like, honestly, it's probably going to be geared more like theological, biblical studies, and mixture of like cop stuff, and maybe a little political stuff here and there. But I'm not super political. But it's just going to be whatever's going on in my mind, I guess. Just kind of about me, maybe.
I dig it, man. That's awesome. I want to come on. I want to be a guest. So I don't have to be the host.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely going to have your own. But I've got to figure out everything, and I've got a lot of learning to do. I'm a millennial, but I'm not tech savvy.
Well, what year were you born?
Take a guess.
87.
Oh man, no, at 93.
93. Well, that's not that far off. I mean, you got to give me credit here because you've like pretty much shaved your head, and it makes people like ageless. It's hard to tell their age.
Yeah, I started shaving my head a few years ago. I absolutely love it. I hate hair. It's weird. I hate my head having hair. It's hot. It's just ridiculous. I'm on call for stuff, so God forbid I had to get up in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day for me, and I got to comb my hair, get a hat or whatever. Yeah, I got tired of doing that. So
yeah, I don't blame. Dude, let me show you something. I've never had long hair in my life, but my entire life, because I have orange hair. My mom has always said, "Your hair is so pretty. You should grow your hair out a little bit longer." Of course, it's my mom. Now I have a wife who says the same thing. My sister. So all the women in my life always said, "You should just grow your hair a little bit and see what it's like." Well, the last 6 months I've done that, and it is the biggest pain in the ass. Because I can get bedhead now, which I've never had. Like you can actually wake up and not be able to fix your hair right. Look how long this is, dude. Let me show you.
wow,
Dude, I'm almost like those kids like 10 years ago. Like, look at that.
you're gonna break your neck doing the whole hair swish thing.
It's bad. It's like, you know what I do? This is how I do my hair. I get out of the shower and I put a ball cap on for an hour, and it mats it to my hair. I'm like, what's the point of this? I'm just matting my hair down to my head. But I don't know. It's been fun. The problem with it is I still like the high and tight on the sides, and but when I do that now, I look like Nazi youth because it looks like a brown shirt, from.
Yeah. What's crazy is my hair is like so thick, like I could really literally pour a cup of water on my head and it just runs off. It don't even get wet.
It's like a duck.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I hate it.
Let's see here. We've got some comments to go through before we go. Zach Henney. What's up, Steve? I just finished my psych eval the other day, just waiting to hear back and see if I'll be hired or not at my sheriff department here in Wyoming. Good for you, man. What a beautiful state to work in, Wyoming. That's awesome. That would be beautiful. Dude, I could see you out there, Seth, like some kind of like bolt action rifle, star on your chest, standing next to a Tahoe, you know? Hell yeah.
Absolutely. All 5'6" of me. Yeah, it's great.
Let's see here. We got some more one-liners from Anthony. He's really on a roll here. That sucks. Looks like he really shot himself in the foot by having that gun in the first place. Hey-o. Good. Jojo says that should be called Fineland. Agreed. Good one. Thank you. All right. And then Anthony's, for I don't know what reason, said he was born in 1793. So he thinks he looked pretty old.
Nice.
So you got that going for you, buddies. Well, everybody, that's Cops the News. It's been a little over an hour. If any more comments come in, we'll certainly respond to them. But as we close down here, Seth, where can people find you, follow you?
Yeah, so right now I'm kind of working out of TikTok. I've got a little TikTok going on. Obviously, my handle is right up there. You can see it.
Milligan2271.
Yeah, Milligan2271. Honestly, on my TikTok right now is a bunch of videos of me scaring my wife, which is phenomenal.
That's great.
Go check that out. But I also have some videos talking about certain things here and there. So, but yeah, as of right now, it's just on TikTok. So the Chinese has all my information.
Yep, there's going to be another Seth Milligan out there on the web soon.
Yeah, he ain't gonna look near as good as this one though.
Who could, my man? Agreed. Guys, you can go to thingspolicey.com if you want to become a guest. I always need to feed the beast here. I need guests all the time coming in. So if you go there, you know somebody you think would be a good guest, or if you are a cop and you're thinking, I have some more stories. We all have some more stories, you guys. So don't overthink it too much. Shoot me an email. I'll schedule to get on. If you really love the show, Patreon is the place to support. Truly. It's 2 levels, patrolman, sergeant, and with sergeant you get a shout out on the regular episodes, and you get direct access to me, and you get like the Patreon feed. I release episodes early there, so that's if you really love the show. If not, if you do love the show but you can't afford it, I totally get it. I'm in the same boat with a lot of stuff, so just keep listening, and that 5-star review on Apple or Spotify goes a long way. So we have no more comments coming in here, brother, so I'm gonna wrap it. The great Seth Milligan, thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Roll Tide, man, roll Tide.
All right, I'm gonna roll Tide. I'll do the outro. Just hang on a sec, okay?